The universe does not hand out gifts. Every revelation has a price. And yet, in a single heartbeat, two wanderers from the dark between stars have appeared in our cosmic neighborhood. The story of the first visitor, called Three-Eye Atlas, was still unfolding when, on November 3, 2025, another light crossed the sky. A faint blur caught by the same Crimean astronomer who once revealed the second interstellar traveler to humankind. His name again marked the discovery log, Borisov. The object's new designation, C 2025 V1 Borisov, echoed his earlier triumph. Two interstellar discoveries by one pair of eyes. Lightning striking twice in the silence of space. But this new arrival chose an unsettling place to appear between Earth and Three-Eye Atlas, as if standing guard along an invisible line. It felt too deliberate for randomness, like architecture rather than coincidence. Two objects, each crossing millions of miles of emptiness, aligning almost perfectly from Earth's point of view. Coincidence, perhaps. But the odds? Disturbingly low. Astronomers remind us that between can deceive. The sky is a projection. What looks aligned could be separated by millions of miles. It's like seeing a fence post and a mountain appear to touch in a photograph. Depth hides the truth. Yet, calculations showed both visitors passing through a narrow region of the sky, so narrow that scientists began whispering about corridors and streams, places where interstellar debris might flow like a cosmic river. 4 interstellar objects have ever been confirmed: Oumuamua in 2017, Two-Eye Borisov in 2019, Three-Eye Atlas in mid-2025, and now this fourth candidate. Two discovered by the same man. Two aligned along the same celestial corridor. To astronomers, this was not business as usual. The words statistically noteworthy and further investigation required began to appear in quiet professional exchanges, the kind of language used when something has broken their composure. If the alignment is real, if these two bodies are moving through the same three-dimensional path, then we may be witnessing the first cluster of interstellar travelers passing through our system together. That would mean a source exists, a direction in space where material is being funneled toward us by gravitational tides or by something we haven't yet recognized. Perhaps a natural current through the galaxy. Perhaps something designed. Three-Eye Atlas was strange from the start. Detected on July 1, 2025 by the Atlas survey, it was soon confirmed to be hyperbolic, moving too fast to be bound to the Sun. It came from beyond and would leave forever. But its behavior defied the textbook. It developed a glowing coma far beyond Jupiter's orbit, where sunlight is too weak to sublimate water ice. That meant its surface contained something far more volatile: carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, materials that vaporize in the cold. Spectroscopy later confirmed it, an 8-to-1 ratio of CO to water, inverted from normal solar system comets. A fingerprint of chemistry born around another kind of star. Then came the brightening. Three-Eye Atlas flashed with bursts of light out of sync with distance or heating. Its activity danced to no known rhythm. And it happened during the same window that Borisov detected the new object. Correlation is not causation, but coincidence was beginning to look like a story. C 2025 V1 Borisov itself was faint, distant, but already showing a hazy coma, active at a range where most comets sleep. Amateur observers noticed irregular flickers in brightness and, in some frames, minute deviations from its predicted path. Too small for headlines, but enough to fuel speculation about a subtle, non-gravitational push, the kind once debated around Oumuamua. If these two objects share an origin, we could be staring at fragments of a larger body, or at travelers launched together from the same system. And if their paths were not random but coordinated, the implications grow heavier. Because if someone wished to send probes across interstellar space quietly, they would send them along natural routes, mimicking debris. One ahead, one behind. One to be seen, one to watch. This possibility is not shouted in journals, it's murmured in hallways. Scientists are careful. But once such an alignment is seen, it can't be unseen. The discovery of C2025V1 may mark the beginning of something we do not yet have language for. The man behind both interstellar discoveries, Gennady Borisov, is more than lucky. He built his own telescope, watches the sky nightly, and seems to aim at places that matter before anyone else knows they do. Twice, his gaze has found visitors from beyond. Perhaps skill explains it. Or perhaps his observing along a corridor of arrivals, a river of debris flowing through space, waiting for anyone patient enough to stand on its shore. 3I Atlas itself refuses to behave. It glows green from excited carbon molecules. Its dust jets, in some images, seem to move sunward instead of away. The physics are incomplete, no model fits all the data. The object is both comet and question mark. It may be showing us processes unknown to our chemistry. It may obey laws we have yet to write. If interstellar space is threaded with gravitational lanes, like invisible highways through the Milky Way, then these two visitors might simply be travelers riding the same current. Fragments of an ancient world torn apart, siblings still moving in rough formation after eons of drift. Or, less comfortingly, couriers, objects launched with intent, taking advantage of the galaxy's own geometry. To test that, astronomers need time. Orbits take months to refine. The margin of uncertainty is still wide, but early trajectories suggest both entered from neighboring regions of the sky. Their inbound vectors nearly parallel. Coincidence feels thinner each day. If the pattern holds, we may be mapping our first interstellar thoroughfare, a natural route connecting distant systems. And as with any highway, traffic could move both directions. What drifts toward us might be one part of a greater exchange, material flowing between stars along channels we've only begun to notice. But science moves slower than curiosity. Between discovery and announcement lie gaps, days or weeks when information exists but isn't public. Telescope arrays confirm, committees review, and in those pauses speculation grows. Amateur astronomers often notice before the official releases, logging faint anomalies, movements, whispers in data. One such report appeared in late October 2025, an unidentified blur near the projected path of 3I Atlas. Ignored at first. In hindsight, it could have been the first glimpse of C2025V1. These gaps matter. They remind us that many things move unseen. Automated surveys scan the heavens, but their algorithms are tuned for expected motion. Interstellar objects defy those patterns, often crossing unnoticed. How many pass each decade without a name, leaving no trace but a few unreviewed frames in some vast archive? Even after 3I Atlas was confirmed interstellar, official commentary was strangely restrained. Fewer press releases, quieter data releases, more caution than celebration. Perhaps scientists were simply wary of repeating the frenzy that followed Oumuamua. Or perhaps something about this case demanded silence until more was known. And what if the silence hides not suppression but uncertainty? A recognition that these arrivals might not be alone. Maybe earlier visitors were logged but never announced, too ambiguous, too faint, too strange. The possibility lingers, that we're only now realizing we've been intersecting a stream of travelers for years. Caution aside, amateurs keep watch. They operate without gatekeepers, posting their findings freely. If official channels ever hesitate, independent eyes will force the record open. That may be how Borisov's discovery became public, a private observation impossible to ignore. And so we reach the question few dare to speak. What if one of these objects is not natural? Suppose 3I Atlas is an ordinary interstellar comet, a frozen messenger from another star. Suppose C2025V1 is something else, an instrument positioned between us and the first visitor. The geometry is perfect. Between Earth and the comet, it commands a line of sight to both. It could observe the alien chemistry of Atlas and the human reaction to it, listening to our radio traffic, tracking our probes, studying how we study. The ideal vantage point for an observer who prefers distance. No evidence supports this. The data fit natural explanations. But imagination tests possibilities that evidence hasn't yet ruled out. When Oumuamua's behavior puzzled researchers in 2017, a few voices suggested artificial origin not as fantasy, but as hypothesis. The idea was ridiculed, yet it planted a seed. We must at least consider the improbable if we hope to recognize it when it happens again. Because if intelligence exists elsewhere, its artifacts may not announce themselves. They might resemble rocks, behaving almost naturally, their true nature visible only in small deviations, timing, geometry. And if such a thing were watching, the thought is humbling. The observers may already be observed. Beyond our solar system, other lights stir. In October 2025, a star exploded in the fireworks galaxy 22 million light-years away. Supernovae are common, but this one disobeyed its script. After the initial flash faded, it brightened again an echo surge days later, and its radio emissions peaked far too early. Something had energized its particles before the blast's shockwave could reach them. An anomaly. Another one. Such events reshape space itself. The energy of a supernova carves cavities, channels, bubbles of low-density gas that push and steer the matter around them. Over eons, these flows become the highways of interstellar travel, the very corridors along which objects like 3I Atlas might ride. The debris from a long-dead star could be guiding visitors toward us even now. At the same time, the James Webb Space Telescope turned its sensors to a rogue planet drifting without a star and found organic molecules swirling in its dark debris disk. Complex carbon chains, ring structures, chemistry that should not exist in such cold isolation. It means life's ingredients form even in the void. It means interstellar space is chemically alive. If that chemistry survives the long journey between systems, then each interstellar visitor carries a library of alien matter samples from distant stellar nurseries. Every comet that enters our skies is a delivery from another world. The dust it sheds may someday seed ours. Then came November's other whisper, from Mars. A cluster of shallow tremors rippled through the Martian crust over 48 hours, recorded by orbiters rather than landers. No impacts, no visible craters, no tectonic cores. Some researchers wondered whether Mars had brushed through the outer tail of 3I Atlas. A wave of fine debris entering its thin atmosphere could have deposited enough energy to trigger subtle quakes. Unproven, but provocative. Another alignment in time. Another piece in a pattern. And patterns continued to emerge. In Geneva, the Large Hadron Collider detected an unexplained excess of events near 4 tera-electronvolts, small, uncertain, but enough to hint at physics beyond the standard model. New interactions, unseen forces, subtle adjustments to the way matter and light exchange energy. If confirmed, such physics might ripple through everything, from atomic bonds to comet jets, revealing that some of the anomalies we attribute to composition or coincidence are instead symptoms of deeper laws we've only begun to sense. Even human data began to hum with pattern. In late 2025, a team of researchers trained neural networks on decades of UFO reports, testing whether the chaos of eyewitness accounts concealed structure. The AI found correlations, clusters of sightings spiking whenever major astronomical events occurred, bright comets, meteor streams, supernovae. The model didn't prove anything extraterrestrial. It revealed synchronization. When the heavens grow active, so do the skies below. Maybe people simply look up more when the night is dramatic. Maybe expectation breeds illusion. Or maybe those moments attract attention from beyond our frame of reference. If interstellar corridors are real, if material moves through them in waves or convoys, then perhaps other phenomena travel with them, things we don't yet categorize as matter, energy, or life. Each anomaly alone is explainable. Together, they hum in unison. Two visitors from interstellar space. A supernova that defies its model. Organic molecules in a world without a sun. Mars trembling without cause. A particle physics blip hinting at missing theory. Patterns in our own sky reacting to cosmic events. Maybe it's coincidence. Maybe it's the birth of a new understanding. The line between those two possibilities is thin, and we stand on it now, watching, listening, waiting to see which side the universe chooses to reveal. We have reached a moment that feels less like observation and more like invitation. Across the spectrum, from the faint glow of comets to the deep hum of subatomic collisions, the cosmos is whispering in patterns that resist dismissal. And yet, science teaches restraint. Patterns tempt belief, but belief without verification is a trap. Still, the rhythm is there. The timing, the alignments, the statistical echoes. They call to us like coordinates on a map we didn't know we were drawing. Somewhere between evidence and imagination lies the frontier of discovery. That is where we stand tonight, under the same sky that has suddenly become restless. Our instruments reach outward, hungry for data. Every new frame, every telescope exposure, every calibration check feels heavier, as if the universe itself were holding its breath. For centuries, we have looked outward to learn about the past. Now, the past seems to be looking back. If interstellar highways exist, they are not empty. Gravity does not make roads without travelers. For every fragment of rock crossing the void, there may be others, dust, ice, relics, or machines riding the same currents. Some natural, some maybe not. We are detecting the traffic before we even know the destination. The silence of space once felt eternal. Now it feels intentional. 3I Atlas moves on its way, glowing green like a lantern in the dark. C2025 V1 drifts between us and that light, small and steady, patient. Two strangers sharing a path across the solar system, so close in time and direction that coincidence seems to shrink under the weight of probability. Telescopes across the world continue tracking both. Spectrographs scan their light for clues, for deviations, for secrets. Scientists compare notes in encrypted channels, running models, revising error margins, trying to stay ahead of a narrative that seems to be writing itself. And each night, more amateurs join the search, people with backyard telescopes, backyard dreams, and the same uneasy feeling that something is shifting. Maybe this is how every great discovery begins, with a discomfort we can't explain. Not panic. Not proof. Just the quiet certainty that the universe is behaving differently than it did yesterday. We are part of the experiment now. Our eyes, our instruments, our questions all folded into the data of something larger. Whether by nature's hand or another's design, we are no longer passive observers. We are participants in a conversation written across light years. Some will dismiss it. Others will chase it. But the sky will remember who was paying attention when the first signs appeared. The coming months will decide how this story is told. New orbital data may confirm or deny the shared corridor. Spectroscopy may explain the odd chemistry. Particle physics may quiet its anomaly or magnify it. Mars may go still again or tremble once more. Every outcome matters. Every observation tightens or loosens the thread that connects these events. The only constant now is uncertainty, and the realization that uncertainty is where discovery lives. The cosmos has always spoken in riddles. We are finally learning to hear the tone beneath the noise. And somewhere in that tone, low, steady, almost human, is the question that has haunted us since the beginning. Are we alone in this conversation? Or have we, at last, been answered? If there is an answer, it will not come as a shout. It will come as a pattern, a sequence of alignments, echoes, and coincidences that stop being coincidences. It will come in the margins of data, in the residuals of orbital fits, in the faint anomalies that stubbornly repeat. Science advances by eliminating the impossible. But first, we must recognize what refuses to vanish. Across observatories, silent routines continue. Arrays hum through the cold. Spectrometers blink through clouds. Each photon collected from 3I Atlas or C 2025 V1 is one syllable in a story still being written. Computers translate the light into numbers. The numbers form graphs. The graphs form questions. And behind those questions sits the oldest emotion of all, wonder mixed with fear. We are not staring into a void anymore. We are staring into motion. Something is flowing through our neighborhood, through this small ring of planets, as if the galaxy itself is turning its attention our way. Maybe it has happened before. Maybe this is the first time we've been capable of noticing. If the universe operates in cycles, we might be witnessing one crest now, a convergence of arrivals, signals, and awakenings. Not divine, not supernatural. Simply the mechanics of a living cosmos, dense with information and energy, where every explosion, every comet, every shift in a planet's crust feeds into a grander rhythm. The pattern is wide enough to hold everything. The faint blip at 4 TeV that hints at physics beyond the chart. The supernova whose light refuses to fade as models demand. The rogue planet cooking organic molecules in the dark. The quakes beneath Mars that tremble without cause. The two strangers threading our sky like beads on an invisible string. Individually, they are curiosities. Together, they behave like a sentence. And sentences, once formed, demand to be read. Somewhere far beyond our reach, a source region may exist, an ancient cluster, a stellar graveyard, a civilization's debris field where the first fragments were born and sent drifting outward. If such a corridor crosses our orbit, then we are downstream, standing at the river's edge as the current delivers its cargo. Comets, molecules, signals, dust, all parts of a dialogue written in motion. The question is not whether we are being watched. The question is whether we have finally started watching back. The sky tonight looks the same to the naked eye, but it isn't. Behind the familiar constellations, data streams glow with activity. Astronomers, physicists, and amateurs stare at screens, seeing noise that feels like heartbeat. The heartbeat of systems older than ours. The heartbeat of connection. Soon, we will know more. The orbits will resolve. The chemistry will sharpen. Perhaps the mystery will collapse into numbers that make sense. Or perhaps the numbers will open a door we can't yet close. Whatever the outcome, we have crossed a threshold. The era of random solitude is ending. The era of context has begun. Because when two visitors from beyond the stars appear within months of each other, when the planets stir, when the light curves misbehave, when even the smallest particles begin to whisper that our theories are incomplete, it no longer feels like coincidence. It feels like introduction. And as we wait for the next object to breach the void, we understand something simple and irreversible. The universe was never quiet. We were. Now we listen.